Hello everyone, welcome to this video. We're going to cover how to draw a figure with stick figures as a starting point and adding shapes and trying to get a working with proportions with the human figure. So first off, we're going to start off with a line. Now I'm drawing with MS Paint. I suggest you draw in your sketchbook. Pencil's good. Start off with a light pencil line, and then as you progress, darken in the lines you feel are successful. Optional is a ruler. So I'm going to first start off with a line here. Middle of the page, this gives us the size of the person we're trying to draw. The next step is to subdivide this line, which represents the top of the head. This is the bottom of the feet right here. This is the top. That's the feet right there. We're going to subdivide this into 8 sections, equal sections. Step 1 is to first off divide it in half in between that point and that point, so approximately right there. Okay. From this point to the midpoint, we're going to subdivide that further. From this midpoint to the bottom, we're going to draw a line. And then we're going to go up to the very top, and between this point and this point, we're going to draw another little line. From this point to this point, continue, so on, all the way down. So that subdivides this line, just eyeballing it, into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sections. The next step with our figure is to draw our symbol for the head, which is an oval. So there is our oval head. Move it over a little bit. There we go. The next step is to draw a line representing the shoulder, which is about 2.25, the length of the width of the head. And we want to make sure that we put it below, put a space between the head and the shoulders, okay? And the reason is we don't want to put it right up here. We have no space for the neck. So we'll go below, approximately maybe a quarter below to a half, and we're going to draw our line here. There you go. I'm drawing with a mouse, by the way, just to let you know. And then from the very top of the head to the very bottom, where's the middle? This is our middle right here, our middle section. Okay, I want to use that as a point of reference, and that's our middle right here. And then we're going to draw a horizontal line representing our hip, which is going to be narrower than the shoulders. Okay, the next step is to draw the upper arm, which comes down to the elbow, approximately to the midpoint of this section. So there's our upper arm. Lower arm is the same length. And then from there, we're going to just draw a line representing the hand. And we're going to do that for the other side. And just try your best to keep it symmetrical. There you go. Next, so that represents the upper arm, lower arm, and here's our hand. Okay. And next, we're going to go connect a line from the hip on this side that goes to the halfway point between the midsection to the very base. So there's our upper leg to our ankle. And for the feet, we're going to represent that with just a line, slightly curved, coming There you go. And make sure the line is, how do you say it, not too short. Same goes with a hand. If you compare the length of the hand to your forearm, that'll give you an idea of how long the hand should be in relationship to the figure. And by the way, all these proportions might slightly vary for different adults, male or female. Okay, our next step. I'm going to erase this middle line right here. It's going to be easier to see our figure, our stick figure. Oh, right on. So there's our armature. There's our graphic kind of structure, the basic proportion of the figure. 8 heads high. Okay, let's give some shape to this figure. So we're gonna go back to our pencil and we're gonna start off with the neck, and we're gonna fit this shape in the neck area, which is this right here. It's like an inverted cone cup, um, trapezoid. So it's narrow as it attaches to the head, and a little bit wider as it attaches to the top of the shoulders. Next, we're going to do the rib cage, which is kind of like the opposite of that shape, which is a little bit wider at the top and narrower as we get to this point right here. Okay, so watch. I'm going to do wider at top, and then narrower towards that point, that measurement. 1, 2, 3 heads down right there. This is our rib cage. This is our chest area right here. And then for this area right here, the next step between this line and this shape to the hip, we're going to put another piece. And that piece is going to be looking like this, which is kind of like the reverse of the shape we just created. It's narrower at the top and a little bit wider. Okay, so let's try that. Let's create that shape. So it's kind of like the same width connecting this shape, and then wider as we come down to the hip area. There we go. Now for the pelvis itself, there's our original line here. So what shape do we create for that? We're going to create this shape, which is a very narrow trapezoid at the base. So it's narrow at the base and a wider at the top. Okay, so come down, up, there you go. Not exactly like a triangle, but there you go. There's our hip area. Our next shape we're going to connect is the upper arm right here. So that shape is going to look like this. We're going to start off wider at the top and a little bit narrower towards the connection point to the elbow. So that's going to represent our bicep, upper arm. So we're going to use that line as kind of like a guide us to where to place that shape. There we go. There is our upper arm. And you notice parts of the extremities like the upper arm and later on the thigh area here, it's wider where it connects to this main torso, and as it moves away, it gets narrower. Okay, so same thing with the lower arm. We're going to create wider at top, narrower as it connects to the wrist. That's too narrow, so we need to give it just a little bit of, there we go. Oh, man, this is tough. Right. Bring that down slowly, slow. Okay, there. And I'm going to do that. Oh, before I move on, let's just do a carrot shape for the hand. What I mean for the hand carrot shape is kind of a wedge shape. Carrot. There you go. There's our hand. And we're going to do this for the other side too. So I'm going to slow down, take our time. There you go. There's the upper arm. And then we want to bring in the carrot shape for the wedge for the hand for right now. And what's nice about drawing fairly large is you have enough space to actually create these shapes and you can see them. Okay. Okay, next we're going to connect shape for the thigh, upper thigh, right here. So what's the shape of that? So it's the basic shape. So let's connect that shape here, bring that in. So it's narrower right here and it's wider as it connects to the pelvis. So wider at the top and narrower as it connects. And then let's do the same for the lower leg. And for the feet, I'm going to finish off with this shape, which is a little bit narrower in the back and then wider in the foreground. And this shape kind of represents the perspective of the feet, kind of flat right now. We'll do more three-dimensional things later on, but there you go. So that's the shape I'm going to bring in this, wider as it comes towards us. And let me erase this little reference line first. I think it's going to be easier to see. So where it connects to the ankle, narrower, and it's a little bit wider as it comes to the foreground. There, that represents our feet. How does your drawing look? How does the head relationship, the proportion of the head relate to the body? Okay. Let me know down in the comments if you have any questions, any suggestions. Did you like the breakout of the shapes here? This rhythm of shapes. So this takes practice. Let me erase this. See if you can get a better idea. We can get rid of some of the lines and shapes overlapping because that can be frustrating. It's confusing. There's a lot of information there. So if we can simplify this, it's easier to see if our proportions are working. And by no means this is a perfect figure. It's just a good starting point. Okay. So, simple shapes. Keep it as simple as possible, just so that you can start to draw basic shapes and figures and forms. And then later on, as you progress and you become better, more skilled, you can add those details, from anatomical studies, from studying the skeleton. It really helps. The mechanics of the body. Okay, there you go. And another hint is if you shade this in with a flat gray, you notice sometimes for some artists it's just easier to see. When we just look at lines, they're just kind of there and abstract, but this gives it something that we can give it some visual weight. These are the three major parts here, guys. The head, the chest area, and the hip. The relationship of these three are really key later on when you're doing more dynamic poses and articulations. And so that's one. That's one. That's one, two, three. Keep this in mind, guys. This is going to be really helpful for you to get these three pieces working together, and all the other things will make it a little bit easier once you establish the relationship, the position of the head in relationship to the chest area, to the hip area. Okay. If we shade in the background, let's just do color contrast blue. That's a little bit easier to see. So this is a simple standing pose. Okay, our figure. And then later on, we're going to try a little more complicated poses, like maybe a seated pose, a recline lying down pose, and we'll progress from there. That's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, we'll see you later.